We're back again. So I apologize. The audio was really bad on that first one. I did not realize how loud that music was, and we're going to delete that post. So we're back to talk about it one more time to try to get your help from the community. If anybody's listening right now, please do me a solid. Let me know how the audio sounds before I go on a rant. And don't forget, I don't know if Tony has this set up on autopilot because every time I start, it just says this automatically. So during the broadcast, you can support my page by sending stars, digital gifts that helps me earn money. Money, money, money. The world revolves around money, guys, and it does help keeping this stuff going forward. So any donations are always accepted if you want to help out. But really what we want to do is this live? Yes. Like how I answered that? It is live. Again, we were live a few minutes ago and the audio is extra loud. There's two audio settings, one within StreamYard and one within the mixing board. So on my side, it sounded absolutely perfect. But when I played it back, it was like a club with somebody trying to talk in the background. Horrible. I wouldn't watch. I would have deleted it and probably never watched me again. And I'm supposed to be a professional. So we're going to chat real quick. We need some help from the community. We have the new Facebook group, Yakima Eats, which is definitely a passion project. I've wanted to do this for years, but in Florida, there was too many people doing it. And it was just, I definitely stole the idea from Florida. And here's what it looks like. This is our page right now. There's actually a link in the description of this video. If any of you wants to join the group, I think that'd be awesome. And even if you don't like food, which I find hard to believe, but even if you don't like food, still join the group because we're going to be doing some giveaways. And the giveaways are going to be, and we'll get a little bit more into that next week. But right now it's a PS4. It's not a PS5. So a PS4, which is still not bad. PS4 with a bunch of games, one controller. It's actually my PS4. So, nothing crazy, but I want to give it away because I don't use it anymore. And I have it here at the studio, but I'm afraid if I set it up, I might not get anything done. I'm one of those that will just kind of like go into it. Same thing with TV shows. How many of you can relate to that? You start watching a TV show and you'll just binge. You almost want to call into work. You don't go to bed. It's almost like you're drug-induced binging TV. So we're going to give away the PS4, and I'm not trying to encourage kids to be lazy and sit at home. However, here in Washington, you guys got a lot of cold weather, things of that nature. So it'd be great for a needy family that maybe can't go out and afford something at this moment. It'd be great to offer this to somebody that needs it. So we're going to be doing a free giveaway on that. And then we've got some awesome restaurants that I'm not even sure if you guys know of some of these because they're definitely off the beaten path, but they're amazing food. So I want to give as much as we can to the community for obvious reasons. I can say I'm doing it from the kindness of my heart. And I am, because I think it's awesome to help. But the ulterior motive is we get to grow our channel. We get to grow, and hopefully this can become something that Tony and I do full time. For a living, I'm a prison consultant, but that's what I do to make my money. That's what I use the studio for. And I just moved from Florida to Washington not even a month ago. So I've been hitting the ground, running and going as fast as I can. John Goff, what's going on? We're hoping we're going to have a really fun interview with John at some point. John doesn't live in Washington. He's going to potentially fly here because he works for the airline. So he gets like free airfare. How cool is that? But John's going to be coming to the studio to talk about potential aliens. And I think that would be great because I know John very well. And let me show you. Oh, there it is. So this is what the studio looks like. And as you can see, we've got these two little awesome aliens that hang out on the podcast table. They don't have any real reference or meaning other than I thought they were cool. And, I like stuff that's not completely normal sometimes. But John has some experience when he was younger that he's just now starting to come out and talk about. And he's willing to hop over on to Wise Media Group and come into the studio and go through his, what he says was an alien abduction. So that would be really fun to hear. But yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways from these restaurants and whatnot. But the question I have for you guys, if you can help me out. So over on Yakima Eats, what do you guys think? Yakima Eats or 509 Eats? 509 being the area code. I did register the domain just in case one of you want to go out and steal my idea. But I think 509 Eats would be a larger reference, so it doesn't seem like it's narrowing just to a very specific part of Washington. We obviously are going to do a lot here in Washington because, or in, I'm sorry, in Yakima, because that's where we are. 509, we got one for 509 Facebook user. Does it give you the option to show up as just Facebook user and not a name, or is all Facebook just on the users? My dream is to open up a restaurant in Yakima with the menu for each diet sensitive. That's awesome, really, because it's never. I'm going through the whole diet sensitive thing right now. When I was younger, I could eat anything and everything, especially when it came to like spicy, burning food. The hotter, the better. I had an iron stomach. Now, if bread will destroy my stomach, and it's almost like the acid reflux is so insane to the point where I've really got into juicing. I tried juicing years ago, like juicing like vegetables and stuff, not juicing like steroids. Do I look like I use steroids? No. Juicing vegetables, I tried to do it as like a lifestyle, which was really, really hard because it's a huge commitment. It might be easy the first week or so, but then eventually, man, you're craving a pizza, you're craving a burger, you're just craving all kinds of stuff. And to me, some of these diets that are not practical for long term, you end up failing it completely, and then you feel like a loser and I failed, all these things. So the juicing thing didn't work for me then, but my stomach has gotten so bad with eating that I probably should do like an allergy test. It's gotten so bad from eating that I started Googling like alkaline foods, and a lot of people talk about juicing, the alkaline juices. So now I juice every day, 60 ounces of juice, but I'm not meal replacing. I'm still eating whatever I want to eat. I'm just drinking half of it throughout the first part of the day, and then about an hour before bed, I'll knock out the other 25, 30 ounces. And the alkaline in the juice that I make, and I make all different kinds of juices. I'm actually getting pretty good at it. It really helps my stomach tremendously. And it is making me more cognitive of the foods I'm putting into my body, the awareness of the consequence of going, man, that pizza with pepperoni sure does taste good, but I'm going to hate myself tomorrow. So I'm going through those process right now. Here we go. Goat milk, raw milk. Those are all great. I don't like raw milk. And any kind of dairy is one of the things that kind of irritates my stomach. So dairy, wheat, gluten in general, spice, things like that, even tacos now, things that I love. So I'm really working hard to find alternatives to some of these things because, man, what's life if you can't eat what you want to eat? So do me a favor, guys, if you haven't done it already, the link is in the description of the video for Yakima Eats. Go join the group, because the bigger we can get this group, the cooler the things we can do. And even though the group is designed for Tony and I to go out and do reviews and whatnot on different restaurants, I would love, the reason why we made a group and not a community board is the group, we want you to engage and talk about restaurants you like. You can tell us things you don't like as well. I don't plan on trying to do reviews, or I don't plan on doing negative reviews. I'm trying to make this a positive platform for people to find good places to eat. We're looking for, from the presentation to the ingredients to the taste to the service. And, I've had some things in Yakima that the service was pretty poor compared to Florida. So I want to find the places that stand out, and we can share that with you. Budget friendly, things that are expensive, going through all of that. So if you can do me a favor, hop over to Yakima Eats, follow us. We got 94 members right now. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you look at when we started this group, I think it was two or 3 days ago we started the group. So it's not too bad. The majority of it came from you guys, from Tony posting and asking for your support. So keep on supporting. And if you join the group, if you join Yakima Eats, and obviously you're on the Talk Yakima pages, but if you join these different groups and you follow us on YouTube, Wise Media Group, which there's a link in the description for that as well, head over to Wise Media Group and subscribe on Wise Media Group's YouTube. If you subscribe there, Facebook, YouTube, basically, if you subscribe everywhere, that's going to be part of the criteria and the qualifications to win some of the gifts that we're going to be giving away. So that's the ulterior motive. We want your viewership. And let's go check our messages here. Amazing how many foods today you think are natural are actually processed, like bread. Yeah. I heard if it's white, it ain't right. I know now that sounds like a racist thing, but I'm talking about like white foods, white bread, white rice, white potatoes, starchy foods. basically your simple carbs. A lot of the carbs you want to focus on are like your complex carbs, your vegetables, sweet potato, things like that. They're still carbs. They're still gonna, add to the carb calorie side, but they're better carbs. They're complex carbs versus your simple sugary carbs. I actually sound like I know what I'm talking about. Damn. Maybe we can have a place for local people to come together on diet. Diet is all about having a local support group. Absolutely. And these are things that the community, we can all get together and band together and create something that's not there. There's always a need for something. And until somebody creates a service for that need, it feels like people get frustrated. Why is there nothing in Yakima? Why is there nothing in Florida that offers this? Well, it's not there yet because we haven't created it. Florida is pretty diverse on those things, but South Florida specifically, just because it's the population there is just so versed from all over the country. And we got another hello Facebook user. Now on Wise Media Group, so we want to do a couple things with the studio. And if you haven't seen the studio yet, this is a quick view of the studio. This is just one camera angle. I've only got two cameras running right now, one on me and one pointing over there. So you can kind of see the podcast table. I think it looks pretty cool, especially when we got all the lights on and things are lit up and we're really kind of grinding in. It's fun. Podcasting is so much fun. Some people are just afraid to get on camera and audio. They think they're going to freeze up. We had a few people in here a couple of days ago from, we did a mixer, like one of those business mixers, and we had a few people in here that have never done it before, and they were definitely nervous. But my feedback from all of them were, they said, Dan and Tony, you made us very comfortable. But aside from that, they forgot they were even being recorded. And when you're brand new, when you come in to do a podcast with us, whether we're interviewing you or you want to start your own podcast, if we're interviewing you, there's never going to be a cost to it. If you want to start your own, then we have packages to get you off the ground. Or if you're already off the ground and you want to take it to the next level, we've got you covered. But what they all told me was they forgot they were being recorded and they felt comfortable. We don't go live a lot of the times with brand new people just because depending on the industry you're in. Now, if you're like an artist or musician and you work for yourself and you don't care what you say and you can't be fired or you can't be canceled, then we'd go live and just have fun with it. But if you're in we're going to possibly doing some awesome interviews with McDonald's Corporation, which is going to be really cool. Those probably won't be live, at least not initially. Those will be pre-recorded. Because some of them, they're going to be employees coming on talking about management training and how it's changed their life and all the positives about McDonald's. Obviously, McDonald's has the tag of unhealthiness, but McDonald's and unhealthy food is always going to be around. There's unhealthy food everywhere you go. There's unhealthy food at the grocery store. There's unhealthy food at restaurants. There's sodas. Everything's full of sugar. So, McDonald's is what it is, but in moderation. McDonald's is fantastic, if you ask me. When I'm starving and I've had a late night, or maybe you gone out with the boys or the girls and you had a few drinks, the next day you're like, man, I don't want to cook. I just want something greasy. McDonald's tastes amazing, and it's not really that bad if you don't go in and eat the entire store. If you go in there and get yourself a cheeseburger, a small fry, and a Coke, you're good. So yeah, we're going to be doing some interviews with McDonald's that will be pre-recording so we can screen for anything that could potentially cause the corporation issues. But now we also want to do interviews, businesses, entrepreneurs, mindset, positivity, and trauma. Trauma is a big one. When I was in Florida, and we can talk about me coming from Florida to here a little bit, what brought me here, my background, how I got into all this stuff in a second, and ask as many questions as you want. This is like open mic right now. We want to talk about trauma, things that people have been through. And over here, you can see there's two clips right here that I'm pulling up. I'm going to share this one with you. So this guy right here, Robbie Rapole, if any of you, I'll come back to me for a second. If any of you have ever watched Ink Master, the TV show, the reality show, Robbie and his brother, they had a rival brother against brother edition a few years back. And Robbie was on Ink Masters. He now lives in Melbourne, Florida. And Robbie had a traumatic accident where he lost a leg. And he decided to come on my podcast and kind of share that story of how it ultimately changed his entire life. So I think it would be fun to share that for a second. So I'm going to show you a little bit. It's only a couple minutes long. And the reason why I'm going to show you this is if you've been through something extremely, what you feel to be trauma, drug addiction, maybe you were an escort at some time, or you were being pimped out, or you were molested, anything, mental health. a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it's embarrassing. They're afraid of what people might say, which I get. So no, I'm not going to force anybody, but I will tell you that when people come on and share, it's very therapeutic for them. And B, usually people will comment that either they went through it directly or they know people that have gone through it. So you'll find out like you're not alone. You're not dealing with this by yourself. And we've had people go through this situation and talk about what they've been through. And some of the comments coming back and some of the emails and letters in private have talked about how this has saved other people from potentially committing suicide because now they know there's other people dealing with what they've dealt with, showing them strength and overcoming things of that nature. So we would love to get people in the studio for that as well. We've got a real intimate studio right next to us, separate from this one. We have a separate room where we're doing like a very intimate couch setting where we would do those types of interviews. So let me show you a little bit of Robbie's just so you can get an idea of what it looks like. And my mouse is not liking me right now, so let's try one more time.
Ran into my hooks as I usually do because it's an easier way to get off the ground. Then I start swinging back and forth. And there's a 4-post A-frame structure that I'm on. And one of the posts was close to me, so I grab it. And usually I would grab the top post, because the cross beam, because it'd be so close to that. I'd fucking grab that and I'd do a little pull up and then I'd drop down. And when you drop down, it looks like you're going to die because everybody thinks, oh my God, his skin's going to rip. So I would do these like little, they call it shock loading tricks where you take the pressure off and then drop down. So I was holding on to the side of the A-frame and I was climbing up and I was like, man, this is a long way to climb. I thought I was higher than this in my head. So then I dropped down. And as I dropped down, the slack doesn't pick up and the rope breaks and my leg goes this way. I remember hearing the snap, ran into my hooks as I usually do because it's...
All right. So that was just a little short we put up. There's the whole interview is available if you guys want to watch it on Wise Media Group YouTube. But would he be called a hooker? That was crazy with all the swinging. That's funny. So those hooks that you see, I forgot what I think it's called, shock loading. Those hooks are in his skin. You can't see it really from the video, but those are like meat hooks in his skin that he was hanging by. Like, crazy to me. I was like, man, you know, he got a huge payday from it, from insurance and whatnot, but he lost his leg ultimately. And you saw it, gnarly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was very hard for me to watch. And during the interview, so the interview we did with him, it was a very intimate interview where it was just him with 2 cameras by himself in a room. And I said, hey, tell your story. I'll be back in an hour. He's like, tell my story. I'm like, dude, you know your story. Just go into it super deep. Man, watching the playback on it, he was reliving a lot of it that he has not talked about since the accident. And you could just see the intense emotion of like, man, he's talked about missing his leg and phantom leg and the pain he would get from phantom pain syndrome, whatever it's called. Just crazy stuff, just nuts. So these are the type of things that we want to do here in the studio, in addition to everything else that we're doing. Obviously, there's only so many hours in a day and only so many days in a week, but I'm that guy that likes to work, 25 hours a day and 8 days a week. So if there's a will, there's a way. We'll get it in and get it done. We've got some really cool interviews coming up next week we're going to do some production. We're going to go out to some of these restaurants, and instead of just having them come in and talk about it, we're going to actually go in, we're going to film them making the food, kind of go through the whole process, almost like something you'd see on like a Food Network. Then once we do that, we'll create some clips out of that for highlight reels, basically. And then during the podcast where we interview them, which will be at the restaurants that we do this at, during the interview with that, we'll be able to cut to the clips of them preparing it, and then we get to eat it on camera. So if you don't like people eating on camera, which I don't like the noises, some of those like TikToks where they have the microphone right next to the food, almost like they're doing it intentional to be extra. I find it very gross, where you can hear everything. I don't know. It's overkill to me. So we're not going to do that, but we're going to make it fun. That's clever. Thank you, sir. I don't see anybody's name. I apologize. All it shows up here is Facebook user. So I'm sure if I was over on Facebook, I would probably see all these awesome comments. But we need you guys to help us grow this, because the more we grow, it's better for us. Let's just be honest. It's going to eventually help us find a way to make money with this so we can really just kill it, kick ass, and give you guys the best of the best. But B, the bigger this gets and we have many reviews on there, like actual reviews, we'll be able to review anybody. People are going to want us to come to the restaurants. It's going to be like that South Park episode. We'll walk in and I'm a Google reviewer and I want to eat for free. Now, I'm not looking for any free food, even though I'm sure a lot of people are going to bring out some awesome dishes. We went into a restaurant right near here. I don't want to say it yet because it's probably the first one we're going to do. And the food was already amazing. And then the chef brought this like new dish, not even a new dish, just something he threw together, and he was bringing it to the owner to show her. And I saw him walk through the door with it. And I was like, whatever that is, definitely wasn't on the menu, because I paid attention to everything on the menu. I already had the idea that this would be a cool place to come in and talk to. It's a local mom and pop place. And so when I asked the chef what it was, he was real cool. He actually brought me and Tony over some and came and told us like his whole story. We learned a lot about the owner. The chef is the son-in-law. And the food was so amazing. And they love the idea because it doesn't cost them anything for us to go in there. And basically, we're helping their business, bringing it to the community. And the bigger the community gets, the more people that get to see it. And then everybody's going to want to have their restaurant reviewed. Now, some places we went, me and Tony went out, I don't know, Friday, Saturday night, Sunday night, something like that. We went out and we went to a couple different places. The food was not good. And we were creating a review for it. I was like, dude, I don't want to post this, man, because it's I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings because somebody else might love it, but it wasn't good. It was poor quality. The wait staff was not, the guy shouldn't work there, basically. He definitely got under Tony's skin. He asked Tony, what would you like to drink? And Tony said, rum and Coke. No, whiskey and Coke. We don't have Coke. And Tony just jokingly said, man, what restaurant doesn't have Coke? Ones that have Pepsi. And the way the guy said it was definitely like slinging, like, why taking up my time? And I saw Tony's face kind of get a little like got under Tony's skin. But Dan, being the smooth guy that I am, I fixed the whole thing. And the waiter was cool, but he could only be cool with somebody like us. A average person, a Karen that would go in there, no, she would be flipping out, asking for them. She probably wouldn't even go in there because of that, to be honest. They weren't presentable. They weren't, to me, restaurants, you can have the best food in the world, but if you don't have good management, if you're a manager of a restaurant and you're overseeing what's going on, you should constantly be going over the tables and seeing what's up, because you might have an aggravated table and it might not even be the waitstaff's problem. It could be just things happen, right? The food didn't come out fast enough. They're waiting and they're already frustrated and they're thinking, man, I'm going to leave 1 star in Google. And then you get this like really super cool restaurant manager comes over and feels it out, finds out you're not completely happy, and then just turns on the charm. I'm going to go stop production. Your food came out cold. We got a blowtorch. You start doing things that are going to let the person know that you do care, and it turns it around, because it's not just about the food, right? If it was just about the food, we would stay home and eat. We would stay home and drink. It's about the atmosphere. It's about the experience. All these things matter. And I just feel that there's a big lacking of education when it comes to that, which is why I'm super, super excited about the McDonald's opportunity, because that all came from a post. I was waiting for my car, eating McDonald's. Many of you saw the post in the group, and I saw their like a training session, or just a little management session, get together, whatever they were doing. And the lady that was facilitating it, the manager, I don't know if she's a floor manager, store manager, but she was definitely above everybody she was talking to. And her ability to tell people what they do wrong without attacking them and helping them see and find the problems by going to somebody else, saying, well, what could we have done better to increase this? Instead of telling the person you're horrible, you shouldn't do that, brought that person up and didn't make them feel singled out. She did a really good job of creating the community of team. And I'll tell you, even before that, the guy that took my order was so overly polite. I was wondering if it's like just this guy, but I can tell it comes a lot from that type of training. And it gives a work environment where you don't feel like someone's going to scream at you every 2 minutes. If you go to work and you're scared of your boss, you don't feel comfortable telling them that, hey, if you don't think something's being done right, they don't want to hear it because you're beneath them. In my opinion, I had a call center with 80 guys working in it. And once I got through that phase of when I first became the boss, I was that guy, do as I say kind of guy. I thought I had to control with authority. And you do to an extent, but you don't do it in a way where where you're creating a fear, because creating fear, they're never going to tell you what the issues are. And when the issues aren't brought up, by the time you find out what the issues are, you might be going out of business. And this woman did such a fantastic job. So I posted a picture and commented on it, and somehow it got back to her, and she sent me this beautiful message. I made her cry, and it was just a really good, like, she felt good that somebody recognized her. After that, the owners of the McDonald's reached out to me, and they're very interested of doing an interview, an ongoing podcast with McDonald's. So yeah, things like that are really cool. So the more you guys help us grow this community, the more we can do really cool things within the community. And I never thought I'd be living in Yakima, to be honest. And here I am in a really cool office. I've met some really cool friends. Tony has completely held my hand even before I got here on helping me find areas of what I should be doing, who I can talk to, really helped me bridge that gap with the networking. So I want to say thank you to Tony and everybody else in these groups that are, the shiny stars, because without you guys, we'd be talking to ourselves. Let me see if I missed any messages. Right. Whether it's a bar, coffee shop, restaurant, people want a place to hang out. They want a place to work, visit, meet. Exactly. It's like a social, it's like Facebook for real life. What is it called? Role playing, real world Facebook. What is it when people dress up like animals and they go out, like, instead of pretending online, they actually act it out in person? That's kind of like what you want to do when you go out to these restaurants. I've got a friend, when he goes out with his wife, and when he gets a drink, his wife will tell him, why don't you just get water? We have alcohol at home. And it's like, I get that, unless you're truly on a half of a shoestring budget, furry. There you go. Thank you. If you're on a shoestring budget, maybe you shouldn't be going out to begin with. But live action role play, that's actually what I was looking for. Like this guy, he knows all about it. LARP Made Cafe. Is that an actual place, or is that an idea? If it's a place, please join the Yakima Eats Facebook group, which is in the description of this video, or just go in the search and type in Yakima Eats and talk about it. Say what you like about it, why you think we should go there, why we should ask them if they want us to review their menu and do an interview with them and videotape everything. So if you have some cool places, I've never heard of Made Cafe, but that sounds like a fun spot to go do things at. Yeah, so I've been here 30 days. We've got the office open about 2 weeks ago. I have not stopped since I've been here. The day I got here, my engine blew in my car, and $20-something thousand they want to replace an engine. It's like $7,000 for the engine, and the rest is all labor. So that's not going to happen. So buying a new car, going through all these processes of just trying to micromanage life as it happens in the fast lane. But if you guys have any questions about me, my background, feel free. This is a great time to ask. If I see it in the Facebook group, and I'll jump over to the Facebook page and see if it's anything's over there. But yeah, ask away, guys. Is this live right now in Yakima Eats? I'm not seeing it over there. So in case you didn't see, I'm sure everybody's been here, but I don't know, Koichi, am I saying that right? Koichi Canyon, the restaurant right across from the Larson building. I've been there a few times now. So this is not a review from one day. Just so I'm not like a guy that just eats everything in front of him. This was three different visits over there. The first time I went, I got the Harvester. Actually, I'm sorry. The first time I went, I got the tandoori wings, which, if you haven't had those, that's this one right here. Oh my God. I'm a wing guy. Like, I'm very critical when it comes to wings, and these wings were amazing. Amazing. If you haven't had them, you definitely got to go try them and let me know what you think. I plan on doing a more in-depth review, but I just wanted to get something up on this brand new page. Then we've got the International Harvester, which is it's a burger. And it's got tomato, bacon jam. It's got blue cheese. If you don't like cheese, and when I say cheese, everybody likes like American cheese, but if you don't like the smelly cheeses that remind you of feet, it's probably not the sandwich for you. But if you like gourmet cheeses, man, this thing is, and they will cook it any way you like it. It's not some pre-cooked patty that tastes like trash. If you like it rare, medium, whatever, nice and red, nice and pink. I personally like my meat medium. I like a little bit of pink in there. I don't like it tasting like a hockey puck. But the other thing that I got there that was also amazing is I was on somewhat of a diet. So get back here. There we go. Trying to go through not eating horrible that day. So I did the prawn and avocado salad. I was looking at the menu going, man, what on the salad menu looks somewhat edible? Because I'm not a real big salad guy. It doesn't fill me up. I usually don't enjoy eating it. And for me, eating food, you got to enjoy it. But that was, I can't tell you how good it was. And the presentation that this place does, that goes a long way in the presentation. So much so that I had to go get up and tell the chef. I was like, hey, I've been here a few times now, and every time this food looks like it should be in a museum behind a frame. So giving people compliments like that, if you go somewhere and you enjoy the food, make sure you let them know. Heard the lamb is good. Yeah, it's really good. My live reaches Michigan. All right. And you're on, is everybody here watching on anybody on any other platform? I guess it's all Facebook right now. Yeah, but go follow us. If in the description, you should see the links in the description for the YouTube channels. When we do the giveaways, and everybody likes free stuff, whether it's food, money, electronics, toys, whatever it might be, tickets, airfare, who knows what we're going to be doing, but we're going to try to do something monthly to start and then going into bi-weekly, weekly, and we might jump right into weekly if we get enough stuff to give away. But the only way you're going to do it is if you are a member of all of the Facebook groups and you subscribe to all of the YouTube channels. So if somebody does win, we will verify that. And if you're not, it will go to the person after you, and until we find somebody that's part of all those things. So take 30 seconds and subscribe. Do us a favor. It helps us. It helps the algorithm. That's what we're looking for. That's pretty much all I got, guys. I just on, and Tony and I will be on Wednesday and Thursday, or was it Thursday and Friday? His 2 days that he doesn't have obligations. We're going to be, one day is going to be all about Yakima business and increasing community as method. And the second day is going to be all about food that we've eaten and talking about the places we've been, hopefully with videos and pictures to go along with it. So I'm Dan Wise. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Happy Memorial Day to those of you that have served, those of you that are currently in, and anybody that's thinking about getting into the military. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff that we're doing. I know there can be arguments made that the country's not perfect, but we're better off in a lot of other areas. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Much love and respect to everybody that serves to make our lives a little bit easier. Dan Wise, I'm out of here. Have a great day, everybody. People up and people, communities method, one day at a time. Talk to you soon.